This is CBS News Bay Area with Juliette Goodrich.
Good evening. Okay, if yesterday was bad, today was much worse on Wall Street. U.S. stocks took another major dive in response to President Trump's sweeping global tariffs. Today's losses were exacerbated by China, which enacted steep retaliatory tariffs against the U.S. So here are the numbers to close out the week. The Dow lost 2,000 points in a single day for only the fourth time in history. The Dow, NASDAQ, and the S&P 500 all closed down more than 5.5%. So here's a look at the stock market. This is heat map from FinViz. Larger boxes represent companies with the largest market caps. Tech stocks like Apple, Meta, Nvidia, and Microsoft all plummeting for a second day. So experts say agriculture will likely be one of the first industries to feel this ripple effect of the tariffs. And California farmers are worried the losses could be in the billions. But our Len Ramirez checked in with a local rancher who believes the short-term hurt will give way to huge long-term gains.
Well, these calves are weighing somewhere between 450 and 500 pounds.
Jim Warren is a San Benito County cattle rancher, and for much of the last 50 years, he's seen how foreign countries have increased tariffs on American beef, making it difficult for ranchers like him to make inroads into their markets.
A few years ago, we were doing some research with the Japanese market, and we found out that the cars that came here were charged a 2% tariff, and our beef was 38% going to Japan. It's ridiculous, the tariffs that we paid for our product to go to the Pacific Rim, the European Union, and other countries, and they don't pay anything like that on the products they send us.
So he's all for the tariffs, even if it means disruptions.
So we might have a little sweating to go through here right now, but the end result is going to be they're positive.
But it's a much different story with many of California's other top agricultural products, which will fall victim to the coming trade war and retaliation from foreign countries, according to UC Davis agriculture economics professor Colin Carter.
Because California agriculture is driven by exports. It's a $60 billion industry, and 40% of California agriculture is exported every year.
Carter says the biggest loser could be California's #1 export crop, almonds.
Right now, as of today, with these new tariffs and China's retaliation, California almonds will face a tariff of 69% going into China.
And he says it's likely to have an impact on ag-related jobs.
California agriculture could lose, billions of dollars in revenue. And if that's the case, there's only one outcome. You're going to see bankruptcies. You're going to see reduced production. You're going to see job losses. As I say, it takes us back to the 1930s.
As for grocery store prices, Carter says those are likely going up too. The U.S. Department of Agriculture says 60% of all fresh fruit and 38% of fresh vegetables sold in the U.S. are imported from other countries.
We're a little bit low on supply.
And Jim Warren says beef prices will remain high because of rising costs of production, loss of grazing land, and environmental concerns.
With California serving as the nation's largest manufacturing hub, Governor Newsom tried something unusual today. He appealed directly to foreign trading partners, asking them to exempt the Golden State from any retaliatory tariffs.
California is a stable trading partner, and we hope you consider that as it relates to California-made products.
In that video posted to social media, the governor said that President Trump's tariffs do not represent all Americans, particularly Californians. State Republicans say Newsom is just grandstanding and has no power to set separate trade deals with foreign powers. All right, we have an update for you on a developing story, a stunning roof collapse at a recycling center in San Jose. Take a look at this. Fire crews say they have finished their search and did not find anyone trapped in the rubble. Firefighters say the collapse was triggered by an employee who drove into a support column. Luckily, everyone was able to get out okay. We spoke with Armando, who says he was about to go inside to make a delivery moments before the collapse.
5 minutes before go inside the building, it make like a strong noise, like something like the bomb explosion inside. It's my lucky day.
Fire officials say the recycling center is now at risk of further collapse and will be red tagged. Crews will also install a 50-foot barrier around the building. Also in the South Bay, there's a new attempt to save Bay Area schools from a free-falling multi-million-dollar budget deficit. Today, State Senator Dave Cortese announced a bill to create an education endowment. So the endowment will use the state's budget surplus to help close funding gaps. He says Senate Bill 743 will also fix long-standing funding inequalities by bolstering districts that receive less funding than those supported by high property taxes.
Some kids in some districts have robotics with real robots, and some are trying to fake their way through it because of the lack of resources in the school with cardboard cutouts, so to speak.
Districts across the Bay Area have closed schools and laid off workers to plug funding holes. Cortese's bill is expected to head to the Senate Education Committee on Wednesday. Turning to San Francisco, where Mayor Daniel Lurie wants to take the city's fight against the housing crunch in a whole new direction, and that direction is up. The mayor is backing a controversial rezoning plan that would raise building height limits across much of the city. This move comes as San Francisco falls woefully behind the state's mandated construction goals. So here's the city's map. This is the proposed changes. Affected areas are highlighted in various colors by height. Many of the changes would come in neighborhoods that have resisted new housing for years. Our Kara St. Cyr spoke with neighbors on both sides of this issue.
Mike Schiraldi says change in Glen Park is long overdue.
Friends can't live here. My daughter's friends are moving out of school.
He's the founder of Glen Park Urbanist, a group advocating for more housing in the neighborhood. Now he feels his dream may be realized.
I think Glen Park's a wonderful place, and I would love to have more people here to share it with.
Mayor Lurie has released a new zoning plan that would allow larger and denser developments across larger parts of the city, particularly on the west side. The plan increases height limits near public transit routes, allowing 65-foot buildings on streets like California and Balboa, and 80-foot buildings on Geary and Judah. In Glen Park, where Schiraldi lives, two 14-story apartments could be built near the BART station.
If we don't build, if we don't allow housing to be built in a site like this, where are we going to build it?
Mayor Lurie says the rezoning plan creates 36,000 new housing units. It's a key part of the city's plan to meet ambitious housing goals laid out by the state. 82,000 units by 2031. The city must show some effort to build or face a state takeover of its housing approval process. While housing advocates have praised the latest zoning map, others are worried about the impact on neighborhoods.
We need the housing, but a 6-story building in a neighborhood that only has 3 or 4 stories is ridiculous.
Tony Passasani lives in West Portal, where zoning laws currently only allow buildings around 40 feet tall. He says anything higher than that won't fit the neighborhood's character.
Like here on West Portal, there's already apartment buildings that are 3 or 4 stories high. Why don't you put a few more of those in there?
But in a city that built fewer than 1,000 housing units last year, Schiraldi thinks this new plan is a good start.
It sounds cliche, but I think the character of the neighborhood comes from the characters in the neighborhood, and we should do what we can to support that.
The city has until January of 2026 to approve a new upzoning map that meets state requirements. Still ahead here at 6, the Giants walk it off in their home opener. We're going to show you how they outlasted the Mariners in extra innings.
And so if you're generating more outside the team itself, then you have that option to invest in the team.
And how investing in real estate around Oracle Park could help the Giants build a winner on the diamond. And a major East Bay Fire Department says it's in a better position to protect the community. We were there as they broke ground on a brand new training facility.
We reached the end of the work week, and just in time for the first weekend in April, temperatures warmed up to a few degrees above average into the low to mid 70s inland. We'll build on this just a little bit more for Saturday. See how long it lasts coming up in the First Alert forecast.
More than 40,000 fans, they showed up to 24 Willie Mays Plaza for the first home game of the season. Opening day is a special one for many here in the Bay Area. Kind of like an unofficial holiday. It's cherished for all the memories it brings for fans.
Grandma Betty Gregoire was born in San Francisco. She had season tickets at Candlestick Park and loved the Giants. And so when she passed, we decided to honor her every game that we come to by bringing flowers and throwing them in the water for her.
The Giants franchise is valued at $3.5 billion, making it the 5th most valuable team in the majors. So off the field, the team recently made headlines for its real estate ventures, particularly in the Mission Rock area near Oracle Park. Our Kenny Choi sat down with a longtime baseball analyst and an expert to learn how those off-field interests can affect wins and losses.
Longtime radio broadcaster Marty Lurie and his fellow Giants fans are celebrating at Original Joe's in North Beach for what they're hoping will be a magical season.
And we have a few wins in there already, but where it's going to go, who knows?
The sights and buzz of opening day abound. China Basin Park, a project 15 years in the making, opened less than a year ago as the Mission Rock neighborhood continues to evolve.
All that is still being developed, and that is really the nexus of what goes on at the park.
The Giants have invested in the development and expansion of the waterfront area just south of the park. Other professional franchises have reaped the benefits of vibrant villages and economic activity around their stadiums. Nola Aga is a sports economics consultant and professor of sports management at the University of San Francisco.
The Red Sox are a great example. Lansdowne Street next to the stadium, owning or at least renting, managing that property, and being able to capture more spending outside of the stadium.
Just across McCovey Cove, 2 high-rise residential and commercial buildings have opened with Visa moving in, but still plenty of retail space and units available. Aga points to other successful developments like LA Live near Crypto Arena.
There are high luxury condominiums, and people who live in those condos are season ticket holders, and they frequent those restaurants. And so it's this deeper capture of spending.
But fans may wonder if their team can be impacted when other investments are made. The breakdown of finances can be complex, but franchises in most cases will separate those entities according to Aga.
It's more profitable for the ownership group as a whole, but usually the team itself is isolated from those other transactions.
That separation doesn't necessarily mean if an ownership group generates a ton of profit, they can't spend it on superstars to bolster its roster in the future.
It's always an option, is that you can invest more into the business. And so if you're generating more outside of the team itself, then you have that option to invest in the team.
That could give Giants fans even more hope for a deeper roster with stars.
I think it's a sort of a false way to go down the road to say, well, they put all the money in real estate, they don't care about the team. They do care about the team, but they have to see who they have first, and then you spend the money.
A winning start and a thriving neighborhood around the park could lead to some good times for Giants fans.
Alameda County officially began building a new firefighter training center. The fire officials say their old training tower was outdated. The new training center will open on Gleason Drive in Dublin, right next to Fire Station 17. The 3.2-acre facility will include a classroom building, a 576-square-foot utility yard, and a 5-story training tower. Fire officials say the new facility will help firefighters better protect the county.
Training props and components to enhance the training experience for our veteran firefighters, our new recruits, our rescue specialists, our hazardous materials responders, and it'll provide opportunities for training exercises with our regional partners across Alameda County.
The training facility is expected to open sometime next year. We'll be right back. But first, here's your ski report.
Hey, I'm Johnny Mosley with the latest Toyota Tahoe report. Before hopping in your Toyota, let's run through the conditions you're going to see up in the mountains.
The first weekend in April is looking great in the mountains. While there's no new snow in the forecast, the 2 to 4 feet that piled up earlier this week will make for great early spring skiing conditions. The lack of new snow also means that road conditions will be just fine going to and coming back from the Sierra this weekend. While you're there, the weather's looking really nice as well. Lows will be just below freezing each morning with highs in the 40s and low 50s both Saturday and Sunday. Lots of sunshine this weekend too, so do not forget the sunscreen. That's always an important accessory for spring skiing. Looking farther ahead, the chances for new snow tend to be pretty sparse in April, but long-range data does indicate a chance for some light snow in a couple of weeks. In the meantime, have fun, be safe this weekend, and we will keep you updated here in the Toyota Tahoe Report.
All right, check this out. This is off the coast of Pacifica. Our chopper spotted a pod of dolphins on this beautiful afternoon. The weather was just perfect, and it looks like the dolphins got a chance just to bask in the sunlight. That is beautiful. Way to go to our chopper photographer and our chopper crew for checking that out. You know, I wonder
Well,
if I was
playtime for the Dolphins.
I wonder if I was walking down the street if the chopper could spot me. Just wondering.
Right now it could.
I know. Even Greg Welk, who's our floor director, is colorblind, and he knew this was orange.
Yeah, you got the orange covered. I got the black covered.
Okay, we're good.
So we're good for the Giants.
I'm going to walk off now.
Okay. She's doing her own walk-off after the Giants just did that. Let's take a look at what the weather has in store for us as we head into the weekend. We're in the midst of a calm pattern that's going to last for a couple more days. There is a storm system out over the Pacific, this big swirl of clouds. It looks like it's heading right for us. The bulk of the energy moisture with this is going to miss us to the north, but we do have a chance for a few passing light showers Sunday night into Monday, but that's going to hold off until after the sun goes down Sunday evening. No worries in the weekend weather. Let's take a look at where things stand right now. We'll go over to the big monitor and talk about current conditions, which are looking just fine as we look towards the Golden Gate. Temperatures, a mix of 60s and 70s, anywhere from the lower half of the 60s in San Francisco and Oakland to the upper 60s and low 70s farther inland. Not a whole lot of variation once you get away from the water. With clear skies overhead tonight, temperatures are going to drop off pretty quickly, but they're not going to be as chilly as they were early this morning. Temperatures this morning ended up dropping down into the upper 30s in the North Bay valleys. Instead, tomorrow morning you'll be in the low 40s, which is very close to normal for this time of year. In fact, all of these numbers on the map for Saturday morning's lows are within a degree or two of what's average for early April. Despite that normal start, our temperatures tomorrow afternoon are going to be abnormal on the positive side of average, reaching up into the mid-70s in San Jose. So anywhere from 4 to 8 degrees above normal, mostly mid-70s inland. It'll be a mix of 60s and 70s around the bay, and temperatures along the coast getting back up into the lower half of the 60s for a couple more days before you dip back just a little bit with that chance of showers headed our way Sunday night into early Monday. Let's talk about the dog walking forecast for tomorrow. Fine looking pup bringing us that dog walking forecast. This is Emily from Daly City. Perfect weather for her to get out and stretch her legs a little bit tomorrow. Temperatures even closer to the coast, reaching up into the lower half of the 60s. And the farther away from the water you go, the more and more sunshine and the more and more warmth you're going to feel as we head through the rest of the day. Pretty much a copy and paste forecast from tomorrow to Sunday. So if you can't get your pups out for a little playtime outside tomorrow, you get another opportunity on Sunday before that chance of showers moves in. Basically, during the daylight hours Sunday, we're just going to see a gradual increase in cloud cover, but the moisture still hanging out way up to our northwest. That starts to move in late Sunday evening, but other than far northern sections of the North Bay, we're going to stay dry until after midnight. Showers moving in late Sunday night into early Monday morning. A few of those splash and dash showers for the Monday morning commute. But this is going to be very light stuff, not amounting to a whole lot more than a few hundredths of an inch of total rainfall for most of the Bay Area. The exception indicated farther to the north, where the forecast models are trying to paint about 1/10 of an inch to 1/4 inch of total rainfall from Sunday night into the first half of Monday. Just enough to wash some pollen out of the atmosphere, which we will need. A couple of days over the weekend where the pollen count's going to be in the highest category. Monday it drops to medium, but it doesn't take long this time of year for that pollen count to climb back up. Let's take a look at the 7-day forecast. We'll start at the coast. Low 60s this weekend, just a degree or two cooler with the showers on Monday and the cooler sticking around Tuesday, and then a few degrees warmer by Wednesday. Just a gentle roller coaster ride. I guess it's not really a roller coaster if it's gentle for the coastal parts of the Bay Area, with the change in temperatures more noticeable Bayside near 70 this weekend, down to the mid 60s Monday and Tuesday, and up into the low 70s at least on Wednesday, if not into Thursday as well. And temperatures inland reaching up to close to 80 degrees for our warmest day on Wednesday. But I think we're mainly going to stall out in the upper 70s, which is about 10 degrees above normal, but it's far from record setting. So we'll keep you updated on all of that as we go through this very pleasant weekend.
Do you think the Big Dipper in Santa Cruz is a pleasant roller coaster ride, or is that a big deal?
A gentle roller coaster?
A gentle one, yes.
I think it's probably, I think of the ones that are like the Six Flags.
Okay, I'm just getting your definition of what
turns you upside down and inside out.
Okay, yeah.
If you're doing the loops, that's not gentle.
Gentle is kind of the baby ride.
There you go.
Okay, thank you. These are your terms I'm trying to get here. Okay, when we come back, why there might be a little extra pressure on Houston's head coach heading into the Final Four, and here's a look at what's ahead on the CBS Evening News. The University of Houston had the shortest trip to the men's Final Four in San Antonio, but they are hoping to have the longest stay. Matt Lively has more in tonight's Madness Minute.
This is the Northern California Honda dealers Madness Minute.
The Final Four tips off tomorrow in San Antonio. All 4 head coaches are seeking their first national title, but 2 of them know they're running out of chances. Houston's Kelvin Sampson is the oldest coach at 69. Auburn's Bruce Pearl right behind him at 65, while Florida's Todd Golden and Duke's John Shire, both still in their 30s.
You and Bruce Pearl, and then you got 2 guys that are young enough to be your sons.
Thank you. Appreciate that. I hadn't quite looked at it like that, but I will now. Well, I coach against my son Kellen in scrimmages all the time, and he's always kicking my butt. So I'm used to getting beat by younger guys. I still think Bruce has got a lot of good years left. He's a youngster. He's only 65.
For the Madness Minute, I'm Matt Lively.
And don't forget, you can watch the men's Final Four right here on KPIX. It all starts tomorrow at 3 p.m. when Auburn takes on Florida, followed by Duke versus Houston. Then you can catch the championship game Monday at 5:50. The games are also streaming on Paramount+. All right, we have some really important sports news. We are so excited to announce that CBS News Bay Area is now the official media partner of the Golden State Valkyries. Oh, yeah. Fans across Northern California will be able to catch more than 30 Valkyrie games right here on KPIX and Pix Plus. CBS News Bay Area will cover all aspects of the team's inaugural season with the WNBA. That includes a weekly show that will get behind the scenes, access to players and coaches. The Valkyries' first preseason game at Chase Center is on May 6th. Then the regular season kicks off on May 16th. How is that for news at the end of this newscast? We'll cover more of that. CBS Evening News is next. See you at 7 o'clock with more announcements. Not sure what they are, but there's more.